Hi guys, this is the market update, and the market is nervous right now for a reason. Oil is back above $100 and traders are getting more cautious. A lot of people are leaning short, but Bitcoin still hasn't really broken down the way many people expect. And that's what makes this interesting, because when fear comes back into the market like this, usually people expect Bitcoin to get hit harder. But right now it's still holding. So in this video, I'm going to break down the overall market, what's happening with the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, what's really going on with the Strait of Hormuz situation, and what the Bitcoin chart is showing right now, and why more companies seems to be trying to copy the Saylor playbook. Hi guys, my name is Lamia, and if you want simple crypto and market update without all the noise, you're in the right place. Let's get started. So we're just gonna start with taking a look at the market overall. So we can see here that the market overall is green, and like this morning where it was red. So they have the S&P 500 is plus 1%, and we have the Nasdaq plus 1.23%, and that was not like this morning. So right now the market is not crashing, but it's not confident either, and the mood right now is pretty simple. People are nervous again, so we have more fear coming back into the market, and the main reason is the same story everybody is watching right now. The US-Iran talks fail, and then the US move forward with the blockade around Iranian port. And this is the news I want to share with you now. So the BBC says, what is a naval blockade and how would it work in Strait of Hormuz? That immediately brought back the fear of more disruption in the energy market. And when oil starts flying higher like that, markets don't like it, because higher oil can mean more inflation pressure, more uncertainty, and less room for central bank to cut rates. So overall, right now, this is not a big panic, but definitely nervous. Now let's move to the news of the day. US considers seizing ships leaving Iran as blockade gets underway. If you don't know what a blockade is, I will explain. Let me open this first to help you see. A blockade basically means the military force are restricting access in certain area by sea in the Strait of Hormuz. But from the official statement, this is not being described as every single ship that passes from here will be, blocked. The US said the blockade is aimed at ships entering or leaving Iranian ports and coastal areas. So traffic going to non-Iranian ports is still supposed to pass. So for my opinion, the whole reason for that is that because Iran was allowing some ships to pass, and yet they charged them around like $2 million per ship. And Trump clearly didn't like that. Now let's talk about the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. So what stands out to me right here is traders look very cautious. A lot of people are not coming in with full confidence on the long side, as you can see here. Instead, a lot of traders are leaning defensively, and some are getting more aggressive with shorts. And that tells me one thing: the market is still unsure. People are not fully convinced that Bitcoin is ready to explode higher right now. So they're trying to bet against or wait for another flash. But we have to be very careful here, because when too many traders lean on one way, that can create the best setup for the opposite move. So if shorts get too comfortable and Bitcoin keeps on holding key levels, that can become fuel for a squeeze. I'm not saying that has to happen like right now, but this is exactly why I keep watching all these levels closely. Now let's go to the Bitcoin chart. So here we have a clear breakdown from the previous structure. Strong selling off. Remember, his was growing fear in the market around interest rate and liquidity. Also, there were expectations that the next Fed direction could be more aggressive, and since then Bitcoin has been trying to recover. But we are still below the previous high. So overall, the daily structure is still in a recovery mode. So if you see in the chart, we have a trend line right through the low. Let's connect all the lows together, and now let's connect all the highs together, and look what we have now. So what we can see here is a parallel trend line. So this gives us the clear view of the massive sell-off and the ups and downs within the channel. And as we know, this is a bearish continuation pattern, as it's coming from the top and it's forming a bear flag. And let me show you how. So although it's forming a higher highs and higher lows, it's bullish, but only for the short time. Let me show you why. Remember, we are just speculating, and this is, as I always repeat, this is all from technical analysis perspective. Now let's take a look at this. Remember the top before the previous sell-off, this one here. Let's draw that trend line, connecting it from here to the next high. Look at this, it's perfectly showing the previous bear flag, and it's bear flag because it's the sell-off coming from the top. Look at that, and it's a flag, bear flag. And now look at this trend line. Look, we hit it again, and then the break up. So this is a short-term breakout, we can see here. It doesn't change the main long term or structure or pattern, and this is exactly what I'm seeing here, a short bullish move. But this is clearly forming the same bearish flag, because we have the sell-off and this is forming a flag, but I would say just for the long term. Unless Bitcoin holds above this area, let's say the 67, 64, then we can move to the upside inside the channel, just like this. Now let's take a look at this. This is the lowest point from after the previous sell-off. Let's drag it and see where it will take us. See where it crosses, just right here. So if Bitcoin will chop to the upside, and then we are looking for this area here, and it's kind of a resistance. So even though if Bitcoin is making a higher highs and higher lows, in the short term this is bullish structure, like I said. But also have a look at this, the stochastic. It shows here on the daily it's heavily overbought. So all this tells me, yes, the move is strong to the upside on the short term, but we could start to see a slowdown or a small pullback if we hit resistance. So the next move is going to be very important. Now I want to show you something very interesting happening in the market right now. So first, you know that Bitcoin doesn't give you income, no interest or no dividends. Instead, if the price goes up over time, the value of your holding goes up accordingly. So here we have BlackRock is trying to do something new. They're working on a new ETF called BITA. And the idea is basically to create income around Bitcoin. Everything we know about BlackRock's new Bitcoin income ETF. So instead of just holding Bitcoin, they're trying to build a system where you can actually make some kind of income from it. Not from Bitcoin itself, but from the way they structure it. And this is coming after their first ETF did really well, like billions flowing in. So clearly big money is already in. And this is where it connects to Saylor. So everyone is trying to copy Saylor, because what he's been doing is simple. Just keep raising money, keep buying Bitcoin again and again and again. So first, Michael Saylor is still doing the same thing. His company just bought around 13,000 Bitcoin worth about $1 billion. So nothing has changed here. He's still accumulating aggressively. And his strategy is very simple. Raise money, buy Bitcoin, repeat. That's it. And now we also have Tom Lee is starting to do the same thing, very similar, but with Ethereum. His company, Bitmine, just bought over $150 million worth of Ethereum. He's the Saylor of ETH. Now it's still early, it's not the same scale yet, but the idea is the same. And this shows something bigger. Companies are no longer just trading crypto, they are building long-term position. We're now seeing the Saylor strategy spreading beyond Bitcoin. So yeah, that's everything from me for today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on X, and join our Telegram community so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.